So, spawning down in the bottom right-hand position as the purple Zerg player, it is Heusa. And his opponent, down in the bottom left, the yellow Terran, Beastyqt. Now, game number 1 was long, 35 minutes. This, of course, for anyone just joining us now, is the ESL Starbow tournament. Starbow is a mod for StarCraft 2. It's in the arcade. It's super cool. More like Brood War in a lot of ways. A lot of Brood War units. Some cool stuff kept from StarCraft 2, though, like the unlimited groups. More minerals and gas mined per run. High ground advantages, causing you to miss 50% of your shots shooting up. And, well, pretty much exciting times. Game 1 went to Beastyqt. He's 1-0 up in this best of 3. Now, the prize for winning this tournament, and we are in the finals, lies in honour and basically boasting rights, to be honest. And it's been like, yeah, I won the first Starbow tournament by ESL. That's what's up with that. No money on the line as of yet, although since this has been a pretty good event, I wouldn't be surprised to see ESL put some more money up for it. Reason I'm using the old interface, by the way, for anyone who's watching on the VODs, is because Starbow has so much new in it. I wanted to keep the command panel up in full to be able to see exactly what's going on. So, this is going to be very interesting. For the moment, we do have a spawning pool coming down first, whereas Beastyqt opting to go for a command center first. But with a drone across the map, Heusa able to deal a little bit of harassment damage, forcing a second and a third SCV to be pulled by Beastyqt just to defend it. He's also adding in a barracks, completing or making a bit of a wall off with the aid of this supply depot, but both taking very different tacks. As I had to hit my mute button because my voice, ow, it literally felt like a bug was in my throat. I couldn't help but cough. I'm so sorry. But anyway, this game looking pretty cool for the moment. Just very standard play for the time being. Neither wanting to take many risks, go for anything too crazy. If either player was going to do that, I would actually suspect it to be Beastyqt, considering the fact that he's 1 game up. Although, he already said in the lobby that he's really enjoying this mod and is loving the games, and therefore doesn't really care if he goes up to do some more afterwards. So he said even if it's 2-0 or 2-1 or whatever, after the best of 3's over, Heusa, if you want to play some more games, I'm well up for it. Which is cool. I probably won't cast those because I am very tired, unfortunately, but it just shows that this is a fun game when you've got people like Beastyqt wanting to play more of it. We've seen some Korean pros play it, lots of the Axiom players. Total Beastyqt did do a cast of quite a few of the games. And it's really credit to the Starbow designers and developers that it's so fun. A lot more action orientated. That's the big thing which I've learned from tonight of casting it, is even in like the 35-minute game 1 we saw, it doesn't seem like that long. That's the big thing. There's no passive moments where stuff isn't happening. You are so rewarded for putting on pressure and playing more aggressive. And that's why it's beautiful. So, third base coming down from Heusa again, nice and early. And therefore, it means that Heusa is going to have potentially more income, but also he's got more production. One thing quite interesting from Heusa is that he's not been getting many queens. I think he's only ever got 1 queen, which surprised me. I'm not sure if he's misread how it works, but you can only have 1 queen per hatch, but you can get more than 1 queen out. You just gotta have more queens than hatcheries. Queens are very different as well. They do have an inject mechanic, but injects just increase lava production by 65%. It also only costs 15 energy. Because you can only have 1 queen at each hatchery, obviously you need that additional energy to spread creep and whatnot. Ion thrusters coming down. This is the movement speed upgrade for vultures, so Beastyqt mixing it up a bit. Seems to be getting a lot of vulture production. Ignore the production tab, it's only 2 coming out at a time, not 4. That's an error that it is known to the development team. So, for the moment, things looking fairly fun. Spider Mine's the big things about vultures. Vultures deal 20 damage per hit, and do deal concussive damage, so likely to take bonus damage from vultures. Very frustrating. They've also got great move speed, as we're seeing. Once that kicks in, it goes even faster. Hydralisks will be coming out on the field as well shortly for Heusa. He does have 1 spine crawler down for the moment, but the important thing to keep an eye on is really how these vultures go, because they deal full damage against light units. That includes Hydralisks. Hydras and Lings are both hatch tech. drones, of course, are as well. So good damage being done here. The Vultures about to get their speed boost. That's where they're going to start skyrocketing around everywhere. Good control coming down from Heusa at the moment, creating buildings out of drones that are about to die. These Vultures taking a good amount of damage. One goes down, but now we see that speed boost kick in. And my goodness, are they fast. Just tearing it up, getting anywhere that they can, being very aggressive, being very, well, in your face. And when you get that sort of pressure coming in, not only is it exciting as a viewer to see that, but it's also quite nerve-wracking for a Zerg player who's only got like units to try and deal with these, because they come in and they pick off units that are on their own. You've got to group them up. And remember, Hydralisks, both on and off creep, without muscular arguments, are painfully slow. Look at them. They just kind of shudder around, and that's going to allow these Vultures to start coming around, picking stuff off. Queens don't attack unless they've activated Enrage, which is an upgrade for them. Still only one Queen down. I'm sure Heusa has a reason for that, but I can't work it out, to be honest. The injects essential. Still takes 2 supply for Queens, even though they don't attack all the time. Now, Spire is on its way down. Gets scanned, though, by Beastyqt really early. Great scan comes down there. And of course, knowing that that's there, he can start preparing for it appropriately. Hasn't started Spider Mines. That's the use ability of Vultures. Spider Mines deal 125 explosive damage to ground units within a large area. Basically, whenever a ground unit moves by them, they get up out of the ground, up the burrow, and go flying towards them. They are hidden as well, which is good. Quite a few drones are getting taken down here. Nice play by Beastyqt, being so proactive with these Vultures, but unfortunately, getting himself slightly trapped. The Hydra's staying on the ramp. Smart move. Just walling in these Vultures so they can't do anything more. Get another kill. The Vultures also just trying to pick off as many drones as possible. We're seeing here the high ground mechanic, where sometimes these Hydralisks just don't deal damage. Only a 50% hit rate there. Really problematic. So, as things go, macro hatches being added on. We've also got some Goliaths. Goliaths were in the Wings of Liberty campaign. What they do is bonus damage to air. Charon boosters coming in to increase the attack range of Goliath missiles by 2. So they have a long range, so they're quite good against Madals. I'm not sure if they deal splash damage or not to air. That's something which you kind of have to see to work it out. There isn't anything on their tooltip about that as far as I know. But take a look. Strong against air units, but I don't know if they deal splash. We are seeing the overcharge ability. Overcharge can be cast by orbital commands onto production facilities. Barracks have double production speed while overcharge is active on them. Meanwhile, factories and starports 50% faster, so that's all good. All in all, things looking pretty good at the moment for both sides. I'd say Beastyqt is ahead in this game, purely because his work counts quite a bit higher. If we look at his income, he's mining about 500 more minerals per minute, and he is getting a lot of stuff out. Tanks are here now, but what I'm concerned about is the lack of spider mines. Tanks are very good, but you do need some spider mines with them just to really engage anything that starts coming through and coming in. So for the moment, things looking relatively good for Beastyqt. Utilizing this high ground, remember the high ground advantage, so critical. But it also means that he secures up his third base, which he's going to be very happy about. Goliaths are now down. That's going to aid against the Madalisks. Against air, they deal 20 damage per hit with 8 range. They deal less damage versus light though, only 50% to light, which could cause them a problem, but I'm not sure if that explosive damage counts against Madalisks. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But anyway, this is where we see if Splash works, and no, it appears Splash does not work. However, they still get quite a little bit of damage done. Missile charges getting some good shots off there. Goliaths trying to come back, trying to trap in these mutas for the time being. There's a good escape path down here, but without doubt, Heusa aiming to deal and inflict as much damage as he can. So the mutas able to pick off one of those supply depots. Better a supply depot than nothing. Also poking and prodding in, the Goliath still getting some nice shots off. It's worth noting the Madalisks do not have the same regeneration rate that they do in Heart of the Swarm. A couple of mutas now taking big damage, a few missile charges trying to defend those tanks, but the Madalisk going for it nonetheless, able to take out one of those tanks, and that is a good little bit of damage done. Madalisk count is quite comfortable, up at 6 at the moment. 5 more on the way out, taking us up to 11. But now we're going to see how much damage these tanks do. Tanks have a long cooldown, it's worth noting, when in siege mode. 4.5 seconds between shots, but they deal 70 damage a hit, which is terrifying, to be honest. Viper Nest coming down once again. The Viper Nest, if I'm not mistaken, allows the construction of, if I check quickly, Viper Nest allows the construction of Vipers, and obviously their upgrades. Kind of obvious. I didn't know if it did anything else other than that. I'm not special, I promise. But yeah, this is now Heusa trying to just maintain map control. Doing quite a good job of it, but Beastyqt doesn't have that much to be concerned about. He's got his third base up, he's got a solid economy, a good bank. And it's now up to Heusa to try and contend with that and actually do something to stop it getting out of control. Because Beastyqt's supply is starting to go up. He's getting his fusion core down. That means battle cruisers. Missile turret's still getting some good shots off. Of course, very effective up against Mutalisks. I believe that the vehicle weapons is separated from the ship weapons and plating, just as it was in Wings of Liberty, but not as it is in Heart of the Swarm. So that is one of the reasons why going into battlecruisers is a little bit more tough than it would be. But battlecruisers are a lot stronger, a very different unit if they built them the same as they are built in, of course, Brood War. So Mutalisks still poking, prodding around. The Goliath count currently up at 12. They're getting some good shots off. Without the Mutalisks healing up, that's where the problems start to come. More Vultures are on their way out. Spider mines have now been constructed. I'm not sure if we're going to be seeing any of these, considering there's a Vulture drop on its way through. I suspect we might. If it does come through, that would be absolutely great. A couple of nice spider mine drops, very problematic to deal with. Especially if any ground units come over, they just get annihilated by them. Spider mines deal so much damage. The Hive is on its way down, as well as numerous Carapace. And, well, Beastyqt going for the drop. So, once again, Vultures on their way through. Move speed, pretty solid, but with the Mutalisks there, unable to get much damage done. Worker kill count currently 18 to 11. And with that, we really just see a fairly even game. Beastyqt still up in supply just at the moment. One lone Overlord playing an incredibly brave game coming over there, but gets taken out by all those missile turrets and Goliaths. Still no spider mines have come into effect, and that makes me really sad. Oh wait, there are some. Okay, spider mine. Right here, right? So you can manually detonate it. However, they do auto-cast. If any ground units come near spider mines, they unburrow, zoom over, and deal tons of damage. 100% armored. Only 50% against light, but that's still like 62.5 damage. So, very nice. No mines being placed at the moment. There's a spider mine. Is going to burrow up fairly soon. I believe that that can be seen, but does now burrow. Unfortunately, those drones and Hydra's getting pretty close. They are unburrowing, but still detonate. Hits go down. There we saw another cool thing in Starbow. Of course, spider mines can hit the same unit, even though they'll kill them, because the mechanic in StarCraft 2 that allows AI to realize if a shot's going to kill an enemy and then target something else isn't actually active in Starbow. So, these Vultures racking up a couple more kills, doing a good job of harassing all over the map. Beastyqt up to 188 supply compared to only 145 his opponent, but only 11 drones remain. 11 workers killed. There's more than 11 drones on the field. Still 64 drones on the field. I was sitting there thinking, wow, that's low. But yeah, as a result, Beastyqt's economy is a bit better, and therefore he can continue on producing nicely. Consume getting researched here for the Defilers. Defilers are a bit like Investors in some ways, kind of a cross between Investors and Vikings in Heart of the Swarm. Mutalisks doing a good amount of damage. With so many Mutas, you can go up against small numbers of Goliath fairly easy. Ultralisk Cavern also coming down now from Heusa. This is where Heusa had success in game number 1, at least initially up against Beastyqt, but Beastyqt's just higher supply causing the problems. This Orbital Command taking a decent amount of damage, but with the two science vessels on their way across, going to cause some problems. Irradiate hasn't yet finished researching. It is on its way, as well as the Titan Reactor. But unfortunately, Irradiate really shuts down Mutalisks nicely. Irradiate deals damage, targets an enemy, irradiates it, then it deals like 125 damage, I think. Let me double check that quickly. Deals 190 damage to that target and anything around it over time. So if you cast on a Mutalisk and they stay clumped up, all the Mutalisks die and it's painful. Defilers now out. They've got Dark Swarm as standard and now Consume. Consume takes some more energy. Dark Swarm summons Dark Cloud in a target area, which causes ground units to be immune to any range damage from it. Plague should be getting researched as well. I'd imagine it is. There we go. So Plague is on its way out. What Plague does is damage over time to anything in an area, and that's kind of like a fungal growth, just minus the root. So, once again, the Vulture's coming in here. No spider mines had been placed down, which I find quite surprising. But at the same time, there's a drop now coming through here. I think a couple of spider mines may have detonated there. Beastyqt and Heusa trading very similar amounts of resources. Only well, less than 100, only about 30 resources difference between them. That's incredibly close, and also quite low. You'll notice it's a 21-minute game, and the resources lost is very small. I'm not sure if that's because of a miscalculation in the way that works, or what, but either way, they are very close in what they've lost so far. It could actually be something wrong with the loss count, because I don't believe 102 units lost only equals 5,000 resources. There must be something wrong there. That's something I'm going to flag up to the developers, because it's a bit strange. Anyway, for the moment, Heusa moving forward. Got a good number of Scourge. Scourge literally are flying banelings. They're fairly terrifying. Scourge apparently don't show up in the unit count though, unless I'm being blind. So that's a bit of a problem. There's a good number of them there. If they are able to get in range, that would be problematic. A couple of these spider mines are attempting to detonate on ground units. There's no air units there. They can't actually detonate on air. I'm fairly confident. Of course, the Goliaths and Vultures just doing the best they can to start taking away these Hydralisks, picking them apart. The missile turrets are the primary target though, allowing the Air Force to start moving closer. The Greater Spire is getting morphed in. Now, the Greater Spire allows Mutalisks to morph into either Guardians, which are flying heavy assault units, or Devourers, which are anti-air flyers. Scourge moving forward now, nothing for them to really take out. The two science vessels, oh sorry, 6 science vessels now, just sitting around on the map currently, all kind of just waiting at the moment. Lots of tanks there, good number of Goliaths ready to destroy anything that comes into their path. But it's also the other fun thing to do is just keeping a good eye on any harassment that could be coming through. Oh my god, Widow Mines! Spider Mines rather. So many hits coming through, this is frustrating. They are getting picked off though. Notice they are unburrowed and have the trigger. So you can pick them off as they are burrowed, which is quite nice. It means that large groups of units don't get absolutely annihilated. Now, some Guardians morphing in. This gives us a good opportunity to show what these are. They're similar to Broodlords in many ways. So a nice opportunity to demonstrate that. Ventral Sacks are also on its way down, which means drops can start coming through. The first Guardians should be hitting the field shortly, so just waiting for them to finish morphing in. There's once again another bit of Vulture play on its way through. That Spider Mine not able to do much, the dropship pulling back. The Guardians are now on the field, so the Guardians ready to deal some damage. They deal 25 damage per hit with acid spores with a 10 range. So they just assault fixed positions, good anti-tank unit. So this is where we start seeing a lot of fun start coming through. The Guardians there already starting to use their acid spores, hitting at a distance. For the moment we don't see any Devourers in production yet. It's a good little pickup of units into that, ready to start going through. Only ground units can be hit by Guardians, and there's a good number of them on the field now, sitting up at 7. Waiting to see exactly what's going to be coming down from Heusa at the moment. He's got a significant army. He's maxed out as I say that. Got a lot of science vessels, a lot of irradiates are ready. Nerve Jammer as well reduces damage done by ground units in the area. The Devourer count though is what is, Defiler count is what's interesting to me though, because that reduces damage ground units take from air, and it's what we're seeing now. Its range damage just completely nullified by getting that. However, many irradiates go down on those Ultralisks, hitting so many units. A lot of those Defilers getting taken out by the irradiated Ultralisks. The Guardians trying to come through too, but look at the irradiates come down on all of those. The damage is sickening. I think it actually stacks as well, so it's just annihilating this force. Beastyqt tearing it apart like a complete boss, kills all of those. And yeah, Beastyqt there, trading beautifully well. Staying about 30 supply up on his opponent, able to take out a mining base. However, a drop of Hydras has made its way to the main base of Beastyqt, ripping through any production facilities that stand in their way. The fusion core going to go down as well. That's mainly for the science vessels to get made. Can't make a science vessel without a fusion core, which is why we saw it. A couple more are still in production, however. Both players with a decent bank, although the gas income for Heusa very, very low. He's low on gas overall. Tons of minerals though, so that's why we're seeing a good number of Zerglings get created. The Vultures attempting to trade as best as possible with these Hydralisks, but there's still so many there. Unfortunately, 2 lone Mutalisks trying to stop any of these command centers getting anywhere from. On the ground, a tank unfortunately dying there to a couple of links. These tanks have been left all on their lonesome, which isn't perfect to be honest, causing many problems with units getting picked off free. Anytime you're trading gas, minerals just for gas units, you're going to be very happy. Irradiate is being used on a couple of those mutas, just trying to take them out as quickly as possible. The Mutalisks stacking up though, so taking stupid amounts of damage there. How effective is Irradiate at dealing with Needless? Or any comping units, to be honest. Meanwhile, Heusa at 112 supply, up against 141 of Beastyqt. Unfortunately, not trading as well as he was before. This mass science vessel fleet really showing why you should be scared of science. It will literally kill you. And well, nice tank shots coming down here. A couple of Widow Spider Mines also managing to detonate, getting some really nice shots through. Siege tanks now in position. Irradiate has been used on some of those Hydralisks. Defiler's still coming in, using Dark Swarm just to prevent any damage being taken from range. Really good. But well, a mass rally across the map. Heusa trying to take out everything in his path, able to do so for the moment. But what does Beastyqt have behind this? But he's still got an irradiated Ultralisk, killing any Zerglings that get close to it, which is a little bit unfortunate. Those poor Zerglings. The Ultralisk may die as well. I'm not sure if it actually was low enough when Irradiate came down to finish it off. Ultras deal pretty good damage, just surviving there, luckily. Now this is a similar situation to what we saw in game number 1 of this best of 3, where Beastyqt lost his main, but he had different mains. He had other mains. These SCVs attempting to take out a mining base. Unfortunately, the Ling's doing a very good job of taking them out. Mighty effective with Adrenal Glands. And obviously the 1-2 upgrades. Sorry, just 1 upgrades. So now we just have to wait and see how Beastyqt responds to this. He is still up in supply, so that's positive for him. He's also moving a couple of orbital commands forward, which may seem odd, but it's acting as just a bit of a wall off. He's creating chokes, adding in tons of spider mines, which is quite terrifying. And he's also going to look to try and take a couple of other bases. At the same time though, Heusa has got a much higher gas count than he had before. And with that higher gas count, what he's able to do is produce some more Defilers. The Defilers are essential to pushing into tank lines because you need the Dark Swarms to stop you taking damage from ranged attacks. Dark Swarms are kind of like the opposite of Blinding Cloud. Blinding Cloud stops ranged attacks from happening. Dark Swarm stops ranged attacks from hitting that area. So that's the simple way to look at it. At the moment, some Vultures are going for a nice little attack onto Heusa, as we see. They're very effective. Picking off that Defiler there, that's a nice little sniper. There are some Spine Crawlers down now, but the important thing is this hatchery. If that goes down, production hurt, and also income is hurt for Heusa. That gas is really important to him. So, for the moment, big pickup, and Heusa is going to go for an almighty drop over. Does Beastyqt have anything to defend this? Well, many missile turrets are in existence. A Defiler is going to get taken out. A couple of Guardians getting morphed in as well. Those Guardians will be able to take out the missile turrets from afar. And that's precisely what Heusa needs. Beastyqt, though, 170 supply, adding in so many more Vultures, a couple more tanks there. But still no answer, it would seem, to those Guardians. Does have the science vessels, so if you can get some good irradiates off, you should be fine. Spider mines pretty much everywhere across this map at the moment. The Overlord's trying to find an angle of attack to get through. Of course, the spider mines won't trigger on air, only affect ground, which is beneficial for Heusa. Terrible for Beastyqt in this scenario. But down now come the units. Those spider mines get some devastatingly good hits as Heusa, unfortunately, not quite paying attention. That spider mine, oh no, they're all going off. Many a detonation goes through here. The tank as well, completing the wall off and just keeping everything looking very, very safe. Meanwhile, Heusa keeps the top base. The top bottom right-hand base has been found by a Banshee and is getting picked apart. We're already at the 33-minute game. And well, this is getting very tense. +1 air weapons coming down. I'm correct in thinking that there... Oh no, there are still Vikings. I'm surprised none have been made. Vikings deal splash damage to air as well. What? Durable Sport Flyer loaded with strong anti-air missiles who deal splash damage. What? Okay, so Vikings now massively counter Mutalisks. That's cool. We also see as well a good number of Vultures making their way around. The Vultures just busy trying to take out everything and anything they can. A Goliath as well has managed to make his way over, starting to chip away. 15 damage per hit, not too scary. Vultures only doing 26 damage per hit, but of course it's an armored building, so concussive damage in deals 25% of that damage to anything armored. That's why the hatchery is taking a while to come down. Nice. Dark Swarm is being used here, and Heusa is moving forward. Dark Swarm prevents the tanks from dealing any damage to that. We see, of course, a couple of nerve jammers going down as well. That reduces the damage of ground units within there. Dark Swarm has now turned off. There's still 2 Guardians up, but the Goliath able to start sniping them down very, very quickly. And with that, Beastyqt knocked Heusa down to just 63 supply. The Vultures still poking and prodding, trying to find a way to go through there. And well, the damage looking fairly good. So, Vultures picking apart absolutely everything. Now only 20, or now up to 35 drones as another big wave comes through. Few defilers coming out, but Beastyqt at the moment looking dominant in this match. And to be honest, I don't see many ways that Heusa will be able to come back. He had the Guardians, and having the Guardians up generally counters the tanks, or at least it should. So the fact that he was unable to do it with both Guardians and Dark Swarm, unfortunately, make me doubt that there's much of a chance that he's going to be able to win this game now and the series, especially since Beastyqt is getting dangerously close to maxing out. There's still so many spider mines about, and we've really seen this game how effective spider mines are up against Zerg, and that's what's allowed Beastyqt to trade so well. He's lost 16,000 less resources than his opponent, if that is accurate, and as a result, it really means that he's going to be very happy about how things have gone. A little move up now of some Hydras up onto the high ground. Of course, high ground advantage, so important. Cannot overestimate that as a boost. 50% miss chance of attacking upper ramp is just ridiculous. Vultures are doing their best to take out extractors and whatnot. You can see how pitiful their damage is. But Heusa, realizing that that top lane base has been successfully taken, GG's out. Beastyqt takes the series 2-0 and is the ESL Starbow Cup #1 winner. Congratulations to him and awesome times.